listening to The Gender Rebels.
I'm Kathleen, a cis woman and ally.
And I'm Faith, a trans woman.
Gender Rebels is a question and answer podcast that explores life outside the gender binary.
A big thanks to our Patreon supporters.
If you'd like to support the show, go to patreon.com/genderrebels. Hey everyone, I'm Kath.
And I'm Faith.
Faith, do we have any new patrons to thank?
We do.
Yay!
We've got Chloe.
Thank you, Chloe.
We got Paige.
Thank you, Paige.
TJ.
TJ, you're awesome.
Hannah D.
Hannah D, thank you.
Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Gay Gino.
Gay Gino, thank you.
Thank you, Gay Gino. Donka Gay Gino.
Yeah.
Amy S.
Thank you, Amy.
Aaron. Aaron R.
Thank you, Aaron.
TJ S.
Thank you, TJS.
And Salvador M. And Josh C.
Josh C. Salvatore, thank you. Thank you, everyone, so much.
And there's one more.
And thank you for waiting so long for us to thank you, because we had some time away.
We've had a lot going on,
microphone.
and we're going to go into a little bit of that. Also, Alex
M. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. So we've been away for a little bit, and we're still gonna
stay away for a little bit.
Gonna stay a little. This is kind of like the Interregnum Gender Rebels podcast check-in.
Is that a word?
Interregnum is a period between two monarchs.
Cool.
Yeah. So when there's no
when
there's no monarch, there's an interregnum.
Yes.
So we're between kind of seasons of Gender Rebels, and
okay.
we're hoping to start regular in mid-September.
Yes.
Why specifically I needed a break? So I've been in this situation where I had an FFS consultation in February.
We had an episode about it.
We did. I had scheduled the surgery initially for May of this year. And I, have been dealing with a ton of paperwork over this. I'm actually going to I want to put together a stack of all the paperwork and take a photo, because I believe it's probably about 3 inches high or higher.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's been, so the first thing, I have a weird genetic heart defect. It's actually, I have too much heart. I have extra heart.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like a superpower. And because of that, I had to get cardiologist stuff. There's a whole deal of getting cardiologist approval to proceed with the surgery. And then on top of that, I had my health insurance. I was going to get my health insurance to pay for the FFS. And I wasn't sure they would cover it, but I was like, they're maybe. And in talking to the surgery people, they were like, what's your health plan? Oh, it's that? Oh, yeah, no problem. They'll cover it. And so I kind of came out of that consultation, really firmly believing, because of what these people who deal with health insurance and FFS all the time, told me.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out my health insurance was like, no, we're not going to cover that.
That's a purely cosmetic surgery.
That is purely cosmetic. And so I had to then submit so many, therapist letters. I had to get therapist letters, doctor letters, all kinds of stuff. I had to write multiple letters to my health insurance company, spilling my guts about what is really one of my most vulnerable and sensitive, my deepest and most vulnerable feelings, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
This is stuff that's deeply embarrassing, and I guess you could even say triggering, if you want to use buzzwords. And it's just, I had to spill my guts for the health insurance company, for some random health insurance bureaucrat to look at and go, no.
Yeah.
And so I would submit multiple letters. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to appeal this. And I worked with my health insurance, or my health provider, my doctor, my surgeon. They helped me, but they were like, okay, first we're going to do this first appeal, where we do a peer-to-peer appeal. And there's more paperwork, to proceed with that. And so...
What is a peer-to-peer appeal?
So basically what that is the health insurance company and the surgeon each provide a doctor to discuss.
Okay.
And they discuss, and the doctor works for the health insurance company, makes a determination.
So it's more of a, hey, you're health insurance bureaucrats, and I'm sure you're very good at your job, but you're not doctors.
Exactly.
Let's have doctors figure this out? So peer to peer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then there was, okay, let's do another. So that the peer to peer, the health insurance company's doctor was like, no.
I win.
And so they were like, we're not paying. And then my surgeon was like, okay, we'll help you with another appeal. More paperwork, more letters. All right, here, let's do this appeal. And so there was what's called an internal appeal with my health insurance and my surgeon on my health insurance. That basically involves the surgeon going, come on. And the health insurance people are like, no. And so then they're like, okay, now what you should do is an external appeal through the state of New York. And there's a whole procedure for that. And what it is you get a lawyer. So
you got a lawyer.
The health insurance, the surgeon was like, here's a lawyer. This lawyer, I called that lawyer, I talked to that lawyer. That lawyer's like, I don't really handle that. Here's another lawyer. So the other lawyer was like, okay, give me all this, fill out all this paperwork. So I fill out all the paperwork. And then, check. And then I have a lawyer on retainer, which is like great. Because it's really grown up. You feel like super grown up.
Your attorney.
Yeah, my attorney. Oh, I just had a phone call with my attorney.
I have to speak with my attorney.
There's a lawyer I have on retainer. The counsel I keep on retainer. And it was, so more paperwork on that. More letters. I had to like swear affidavits.
Wow.
Which again contained all this like personal spill your guts details of like, how self-conscious I am about my appearance, how I don't like my appearance, how I worry about getting attacked, and
it's unsafe.
How I worry about, being misgendered and how being misgendered feels, and, all this spill your guts stuff. And so, but I put that in legal affidavits. Got one of my coworkers who is a notary to sign it.
Good.
Or to observe me signing it. And to show that I wasn't under duress when I signed it. So I had this legal affidavit that I had to sign. So then my lawyer is like, all right, I have a call with my lawyer. I've gotten all the paperwork. And the lawyer's like, yeah, we're probably not going to win. And I'm like,
that's so weird to me.
I think the lawyer wants to give you like a good, a good,
a fair assessment.
A fair assessment. And so the lawyer was like, yeah, we're probably not going to win. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. He's like, and the lawyer was like, but we'll keep, we'll do it. We'll see what happens. But, just so it's unlikely we're going to win because, this is kind of established and they would have to overturn this and it would be a whole deal. And New York State right now is trying to decide because New York State covers top and bottom surgery. But, or New York State requires health insurance companies to cover top and bottom surgery for trans people.
Wow.
And, you'll find out in a few minutes why I'm talking weird. And then there's like a whole question of FFS. And so that might be the new top surgery as something that is covered.
Oh, that's interesting.
This is a weird thing. This is how you can tell health insurance decisions are made by cis people. Because they're like, okay, what should we cover of all the transgender surgeries? And they're like, well, clearly genitals.
It's obviously genitals.
Because
they're most important.
They're the most important. They're the one thing that makes you who you are, gender-wise.
Your gender is your genitals.
Yeah. And so, really, FFS and top surgery, I think, for trans women are probably, like, far more likely because the number of people who see my junk is basically Kathleen. The nice lady who does my electrolysis, pre-GRS electrolysis, who is a saint, by the way, for doing that electrolysis.
Also, you pay her.
I pay her, but she's the fact that she's willing to do that. And then occasionally another doctor might see it. So there's not really that many people everyone sees my face. Random people see my face every day.
And there's even statistics that if in general, trans people who are picking one surgery, it's going to be top surgery for trans guys and top or facial surgery for trans women. The genitals are the least popular of the three.
I think so, because again, no one sees that. That's something, and we'll get to GRS after. I'll discuss my thoughts on that after having done this. So anyway, So I get it's like a Friday, like last Friday. It's literally like 2 weeks ago. And I get the call from my lawyer. It's like a random number. And I'm like, it's a 212 number. And I'm like, okay, it's probably something related to this surgery. Because I've had to deal with disability for work.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to take a month off. So that's disability. Mm-hmm. So I've been dealing with that. And I keep shifting the dates for disability people. I've shifted the date of my health, and because of this ongoing thing, I've had to shift the date of my FFS like 3 times. Mm-hmm. And so I had to deal with like the disability insurance people, and they want updated paperwork all the time because dates keep changing. And,
right, and they need to know when you're going to be around.
And so I have other paperwork that needs like updated dates, and it's a paperwork maelstrom.
Yes.
And so I get this call, and it's a 212, and I'm like, well, it's probably related to, it's probably the doctor checking in, or it's the health insurance people, or it's the, who knows, checking in. Right. And so then the lawyer calls, and the lawyer's like, I answer it, and it's my lawyer, and they're like, we won. And I'm like, what? And they're like, we won. And I'm like, we won. And they're like, yeah, they overturned the whole thing, so we're good. Your surgery's covered. And I'm like, oh my freaking God.
Oh my God.
And I'm like at work, and my coworkers are all around, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is so wonderful. Oh my gosh. And
they're all like, what?
Everyone's like, what? Did you win the lottery? And I'm like, sort of.
Yeah.
And so I'd won the legal case, and it wasn't a legal case so much. Like, I was trying to explain to people, like, I wasn't suing my health insurance. It wasn't a court case. It's like an arbitration.
But it still needed a lawyer
situation, yeah,
to advocate for you.
But yeah, essentially, I sued my health insurance company.
Sort of.
Sort of. And so they're like, we won. I was like, oh my God. So, and I had like a week. That was like a week before the surgery, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get everything wrapped up at work. Mm-hmm. I gotta prepare for this. I gotta do all kinds of stuff. Work was crazy for a few days as I tried to like get everything pushed forward. So
yep.
Yeah, for a month off, and it's actually a good time at work. Thankfully, this could have happened at other times.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was kind of crazy. I was like elated, and it was wonderful, and it was like such a happy, buoyant feeling, but at the same time, just like having dealt with like the rejection and the loss and the paperwork and the frustration and the more paperwork and more frustration, and oh my God, this whole process wore me down so much, y'all. And people do this process when they're getting cancer treatment and can barely stand up. And I can't imagine doing that. I was fully able, fully conscious, and doing this, and it drained me. And it drained me. And that made my creative stuff, like gender levels, suffer. Because it was so draining. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of why I needed a break. Also because now I'm recovering from FFS.
Because
I got FFS. Yeah, I got the FFS, and it was literally, like I said, for a week in advance. And I actually got the FFS on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And I heard the previous Friday.
Oh my God.
So it was a very short amount of time, but that Friday, it was fun. That Friday.
That was a good day.
That was a good day, because that was the day. I like this band, The Regrets. And their new album was being released like that day. And I had tickets for a show. And I was so kind of like emotional that I was like, okay, I don't even know if I'm going to go to the show.
It's like
came home, ordered a pizza, was watching some Buffy. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to chill at home. I'll skip The Regrets. And then I was like, I ate my pizza. I finished my episode of Buffy, and it was like 9:15 or something, and I was like, the opening band goes on in like 15 minutes.
If I leave
now and get a cab, I can be at the show in like 15 minutes. And I literally arrived like as the opening band was starting.
Oh my God.
And guys, I'll tell you, and I gotta like send this to The Regrets or tweet them or something, but that concert was, one, it was a bunch of Regrets fans.
Well,
and they're
obviously
they're a pop. They're kind of a pop punk, power punk sort of band. But I love them. They're very fun and like very feminist and very cool in a Riot Girl kind of way.
We've provided links to them in the past because we've discussed them in the past, but we'll have links again.
And so I just had a Pentecostal experience with the show. And I say that honestly because the Pentecostal church is like very like, you're in the moment, you're in the spirit, you're dancing around, you're shaking, etc. And I moshed for the first time, 300 Regrets fans in the space going freaking crazy because it's everyone's favorite band, and they're not playing the stuff off the new album, they're playing like the stuff we all know, and it was just amazing. And I just had this emotional release of like just getting bounced around and like in this mosh pit, and it was just wonderful.
I could just picture this huge smile on your face.
I did. I was just beaming. It was just...
People looked at you like, what is she on?
It was perfect and amazing. And it was like kind of the emotional release I needed. So I'm so glad I went. But it was just... It was like I realized kind of as I left, I think I was texting you and I was like, I have these moments. And this is why Kath, every time I say this, she's like, you need therapy. But I have these moments where I'm like, I let go of, like, I find myself either in a very happy place or in a crying place, and I'm like, I'm letting go of something I didn't realize I was holding on to. And I will have these, like, I had one crying at work, over a happy thing, and I had this one smiling and getting shoved around at a punk show, and it was like, but I had these moments of, like, letting go of things, and this was kind of letting go of that whole process. And yeah, Tuesday I had my FFS.
So wait, you found out, and then there was a full week of work.
Yeah.
And then the Monday, and then the surgery.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay. Found out on Friday. Worked.
A full week, and then I had a Monday work, and then it was Tuesday.
Got it.
So it was quick. It was like It was something that I didn't think I was at that point of that lawyer call. I was absolutely certain it was not going to happen.
We were pretty much figuring out what the next step was.
Like, I was kind of resigned that it wasn't going to happen. Exactly. This was the only step. If this didn't happen, it would be something I would have to wait a year or so on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that is part 1 of Faith's FFS
and that
adventure.
Is just, a legal win.
Legal win.
Go legal win for trans people. And I'm hoping that that win becomes something of a precedent. Legal precedent is important.
A routine, boring thing. It should just be covered.
Yeah, and yes. I hope that this legal win that I had is kind of can be pointed to by someone else.
Or that they point to the huge mass of overturned decisions and be like, maybe we're going about this the wrong way, people.
I was texting Kath. I even texted her a picture of the document that was like, this decision has been overturned in full. And my favorite part was like, it's like question and answer. And it was like, did the health insurance company make a wise decision for the patient's health care? And it's like, no! The health insurance company neglected the patient's... It's great. Just a great really document.
It's good. So that got us up to surgery night. And check out our second part of this, Faith FFS, the surgery itself. We'll talk to you then.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.
If you've enjoyed this episode and want to help us keep making more great content, go to patreon.com/genderrebels.
Please leave a 5-star review on iTunes.
And send your questions to questions@genderrebels.com or find us on Twitter @TheGenderRebels.
Music for The Gender Rebels is by Jasper the Colossal. Follow the link down below or download them on iTunes today.
And for all our episodes, visit genderrebels.com.
Gender Rebels is a Come Back Sync production, copyright 2019. All rights reserved.
And to all you gender rebels out there, keep rebelling.
Bye.